Hey, Big Mike. Hey, how's it going, dude? Hey, it's Moss, me, Moss Walker. Oh yeah, how you doing, Moss? Good thing he identified himself. The facial recognition disorder, which I share with the Hollywood heartthrob and Academy Award winner Brad Pitt, makes it hard enough to recognize my fellow New Yorkers, even without his essentially mandated N95 particulate face mask, which he wears, and the red parka hood he has pulled down over his eyes, likewise shielded by rose-tinted ski goggles. He looks outfitted for an attempt at reaching the north face summit of Tibetan Mount Everest. He straddles his generic street bike, a Grubhub food backpack on his shoulders. You live here? Well, yeah, I reside here. I've been couch surfing for the last 10 years now. This is the residence of my second ex-wife, Janet, who currently tolerates my presence in her domicile. So, yeah, this is my current address. Did you just witness that fiasco just now? Which fiasco do you mean? The fiasco with all the sirens, the banging pots and pans, the hooting and hollering, that fiasco. You know what it's all about? Oh, it's all about the nightly tribute to all the healthcare workers, firemen, and EMS paramedics. That's the Lenox Hill Hospital Center's emergency treatment facility across the street there. This goes on every night at exactly 7 p.m. It's my signal to head home. It's tough getting a cab after that time of night. With these arthritic hips and knees of mine, I have to travel everywhere by cabs these days, so I have to head home before it gets too late. Do you ever participate? Nah, not me. It all smacks of bandwagonism, the herd instinct, sheep behavior. In the words of Jack Nicholson as Colonel Jessup in the film A Few Good Men, when confronted by Tom Cruise under cross-examination on the witness stand, says, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a watch. If everybody is as grateful as they say they are, what if they just drop in at an emergency room and help out? Lend a hand. I'm sure the ER personnel would find something for them to do, like taking temperatures or something simple like that. You coming out of retirement? You were a registered nurse, right? I already got that annoying little email from Governor Andrew Cuomo directing me to come out of retirement. Recertifications and license issues will all be resolved, but it's like jury duty. I'm going to avoid it at all costs. I already did my time. I worked in hospitals all over the city for 40 years as a registered nurse. Now I'm retired. I mentioned this to a friend of mine. I'm like, this is like asking a First World War veteran to come back to fight in the Second World War. And she says it's more like a First World War veteran being asked to come back and fight in the Korean War. Besides, they mentioned the word volunteer. They never mentioned anything about pay. They want me to work for free? Look, I was in on the last Great Plague in 1982, the AIDS epidemic. Remember that one? I worked with HIV positive patients until 2008. Everyone forgets that after the 9/11 attack, some lunatic fringe type was mailing envelopes containing anthrax through the main post office on 34th Street. The postal employees were dying of anthrax. My job at that time was handing out doxycycline and tetracycline antibiotics to the mail handlers as prophylaxis. 4 days after the World Trade Center attack, I was walking downtown at Beekman Hospital across Broadway from the burning pile where all the first responders who later started dying from cancer were assigned salvage duty. Every day for 3 months, I was inhaling that toxic smoke plume of burning bodies and poisonous chemicals for a 16-hour shift because nobody else wanted to work downtown there. I've done my fair share of hazardous duty, life-saving tasks, and now I'm retired. I'm taking it easy, enjoying my so-called golden years. Well, how about Puma? Is she still banging on pots and pans every night at 7 p.m.? You know, I see her daily posts on Facebook with the frying pan and ladle. By the way, I don't see her posts on Facebook anymore. What happened? Taking a break from the internet? No. I got thrown off Facebook again. I started out with 10 different Facebook pages. Now I'm down to 2. One I can't get into because I forgot the password. And now the Facebook administrators have shut down the other for posting photos of my performance partner's tits and nipples. But this was back in December and February, and they hauled me off to Facebook jail just now? Just when social media platforms are the only methods to communicate with our fellow lockdown sheltering in place New Yorkers? I really liked all those posts of yours with all the tits and ass shots. I miss seeing them. By the way, I see you ain't wearing a mask. Why is that? You see that N95 mask you're wearing? It's absolutely fucking useless against the coronavirus. Now, back in the day when I was still treating drug-resistant tuberculosis patients at St. Luke's Hospital, another pandemic I served during, we were handed out these HEPA filter masks, supposedly to prevent infection by the airborne tuberculosis bacteria. They were the size of overnight Pampers stuck to your face, and they had to be precisely fitted to your face even to be effective. To test for proper fit, you had to put on this diving bell over your head, and the technician would spray a saccharine solution in your face. If you tasted the sweetness, it was improperly fitted. Then they handed you a verse of poetry. If you could hear you recite the words, it was improperly fitted. And it didn't work at all if you had a beard. This was to prevent an infection by a bacteria 100 times larger than a virus. All masks are useless against a virus. Even Dr. Fauci himself said as much. He doesn't wear one. Neither does Trump. It only keeps someone from coughing in your face if they're wearing one and infecting you. That N95 particulate construction mask might keep you from inhaling nitrous oxide vehicle emissions while you're doing your bike deliveries on the road, but it's not going to protect you from any COVID-19 virus. See where those elastic bands keep the mask up against your ears? They're not printed properly either. That's where the virus would enter your respiratory system. Oh yeah, but I'm wearing 3 of them, and they're still not fitted properly against your face. Hey, Big Mike, you just touched your face. You're never supposed to touch your face anymore. Ever watch Dr. Fauci at those presidential press conferences? Look carefully. He touches his face all the time, and he doesn't wear a mask. When I got that email notice from Governor Cuomo, I signed up for one of those COVID-19 prevention webinars for healthcare workers on my cheap, shitty Android phone. Interestingly, they said that on average, an average person will touch their face 90 times a day. 90 times. They suggested that healthcare workers reporting for duty should set up a buddy system where one worker monitors the other to warn and prevent them from touching their face, and the other worker monitors his buddy, again, to keep him from touching his face. When this whole virus plague thing started back in March, I was convinced that I was going to catch it and die. I was so convinced that my number was up, I went around telling people who mattered to me that this was the big goodbye and that I loved them. It's 6 weeks later, 39 days to be exact. I've gone outside to hang out in Union Square Park and to shop at Duane Reade every single one of those days. And somehow I'm still not sick. So I figure I'm going to be okay now. I'm not going to hide inside my place anymore, hold up like some badger in a burrow, not like everybody else in New York City is. Hey, Big Mike, would you be interested in participating in another poetry pub crawl? Sure, but all the pubs in the city are closed. Shut it up tight. Yeah, well, we could still hold a poetry pub crawl. Would you be interested? Sure, just name a time and place. You think anyone else would show up besides you and me? Maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. Everybody is so paranoid about this whole novel coronavirus thing. But I would be there, and you would be there. So that makes 2 of us. And that's more than enough poets for me.